Just walk down here, Aylesbury Street in Clerkenwell. I'm going to turn up here into, what is the name of the street? Woodbridge Street, which makes me think it must have a relationship with Woodbridge in Suffolk. Anyway, that isn't what I just wanted to check in with you, because today is a very special anniversary today. I only realised earlier on, and today is the 10th anniversary of this series of videos that I call the walking vlog series. I uploaded the first one 10 years ago today. Let's walk down here actually. Haywards Place, EC1. It's an intriguing place. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really know how to mark the occasion at all, and didn't plan anything at all. I was out and I was like, hey, I'll tell you what I was doing. What I realised is I'm planning on launching a second channel, and as I was writing through, I realised that I would basically be doing it on the 10th anniversary of starting this series of videos. I thought, I wonder if there's something in that, because at the moment I feel really compelled to launch this new channel. Walking across St John's Street now, by the way. I'm going to try and keep this as unedited as possible whilst I walk up from Clerkenwell near Smithfield up to the Angel. It's very noisy. And now we're walking down, what street we're walking down here? Walking down Compton Street, and I love this street, Compton Street. Get a bit of point of view. Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's go up here, because Agden Street, and I'm going to frustrate you now because I can't remember what it is about the end of Agden Street that's particularly interesting. I do know it's in my notes app on my phone, and I do know it's on my computer at home, so maybe I'll insert that bit of info when we get to the point. You can still see a feature in the land that was here, I think, in the, I want it where some of the medieval maps. And funny enough, look, you've got all the estates and stuff here. It's so heavily built up. You've got all the estates on that side of the blocks, and you've got these, what I imagine would have been 20th century industrial buildings. These would have probably been the same, now flats. And when you look at the map, oh, what is the thing? I'm going to try and remember off the top of my head. I can't remember off the top of my head. Off the top of my head what it is. I'll insert it later. But the feature you see on the medieval map, when this is kind of all fields basically, is still here in the landscape, and I'm trying to find a way to incorporate it into a video. It's now in this video which wasn't what I intended to do, but since I'm walking up here, I thought I'd share it with you whilst I waffle on about 10 years of doing the walking vlog series. That's what I want to celebrate with this little stroll. And thank you for coming on this journey with me. There's 350 episodes in the walking vlog series. 350 episodes, which is amazing. Here is this piece of land here on the junction of St John Street and Agden Street. There is something here that I will insert in the video. If not, it'll be a pinned comment. There was here, I want to say in the 17th century, something that wasn't particularly nice, I seem to think, from memory. Should we go down Percival Street a little bit? We'll go down Percival Street. We're trying to find a quieter way up to the Angel, but I don't know if such a thing exists. Let's go up, let's continue up St John's Street a bit under the shade of these trees. So 350 episodes of the Walking Vlogs series in 10 years. I had my YouTube channel. I started a YouTube channel, a YouTube account. You didn't have YouTube channels back then. I think I can genuinely claim to be one of the OGs of YouTube. And that was, I opened an account, I think the early part of 2006, February, and I think I uploaded my first video in something like October of 2006, but it was very sporadic, and I would just use it as a place to put videos so I could share them with people, or apart if I had something made some videos for the radio show I used to do with Nick Papademetria called Ventures and Adventures in Topography, and the London Perambulator was put there, but it was kind of very ad hoc, sporadic kind of thing over there, by the way, just to point out features as we go. The wonderful Islington Library, where there's an exhibition at the moment about water in Islington, so it talks about the River Fleet, the Walbrook. What else does it talk about? It talks about wells and springs. It's a really interesting exhibition. I highly recommend it. St John's Street, Islington Museum. Check the times it's open though. Go down here down Wycliffe Street. There's a lovely bandstand down here on Northampton Square. So I started that series 2015, 14th of May 2015. I started that series because I found that I wasn't walking as much. This Other London was published September 2013, and I had already started working on the follow-up book, which becomes Welcome to New London, which I published myself 10 years later. But when I was sort of getting into the early stages of working on it, I found that I just wasn't going out on enough walks. I wasn't really doing much because I was focusing on this book. It wasn't really, I didn't really feel like I was making much progress on the page, because I was sort of hyper focused on the Olympic Park, and I had more time on my hands because I was a full-time parent just doing the school run, and so I did too much research. I kind of got lost in the research a bit, and then I found myself thinking I need a project to get me out more to other places, but places that I won't write about, places that are just for me and for my blog. So I was writing them on my blog, but then I was like, I need something else, and I thought I need to be accountable, and so I filmed a little video like this on my phone as I was walking across Wanstead Flats, and at that point I sent it straight to my sister to kind of make me accountable, and so I'm going to do a video every day. That's what I said there. Between when I drop the kids off at school and when I pick them up, I'll upload the video before I pick them up. So I've got between, say, 9:30 in the morning, have a coffee after dropping them off. I'll have between 9:30 and then I'll have to have uploaded it by, say, 3 o'clock at the latest. And that was a little challenge I set myself. I did that for 3 days. The first 3 episodes, and I think you can see one of them was made in the evening because I didn't get it done, and I soon realised, you know, it wasn't a good idea. I think on one of the days as well, it was absolutely tipping down with rain, and I went to the Barbican, so I thought, oh, a Barbican's a good place to do in the rain. Anyway, in the end I realised, okay, let's just try and do one a week, you know. And I've tried to stick to about at least 30 a year. In fact, most years I've done, well, you can work it out, I've averaged 35. Well, I'm not sure what the average is because it includes the videos I've made this year, and also some videos I've made in that time as weekly episodes. Don't really fall under the category of a walk. I might have done an interview or a site visit or something like that, or a little feature doc, a little mini doc, not a feature doc, a mini doc. So it's been an amazing journey. It's been totally transformative. People that tell you that YouTube would transform your life, I mean, what it did achieve its goal, in the sense that when I was in that limbo stage, what would have been 18 months after my book was published, you can't just be dependent on a publisher, because the publishers weren't particularly sure about publishing another book that was similar to the first one. They weren't mad keen on the idea of Welcome to New London. They wanted me to write about being a man. I think it's because Caitlin Moran had a big hit with a book called How to Be a Woman, and they went, could you do that for a man? It's a bit of a strange idea, really. It's not really an equivalence, is it? I think in the end Robert Webb wrote that book, I believe. Eventually someone did it. Going past Turnpike House here. So this project really was born out of that, and in the end the writing kind of I found the writing became a secondary thing in some ways, and the series took over. But within 6 months, people were asking to show the films in exhibitions. All sorts of things happened. It was really transformative in terms of, you know, creating. Also, the main thing, the biggest thing, and one of the principal reasons I was doing it was the community, the awareness that, you know, you do get a community around videos on YouTube in the way you don't on other platforms, I don't think. And that's been the most special thing about all of it, is you, the connection that we get through these videos. And the comments are amazing, the appreciation, the support, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. And obviously the communities I've got on Patreon and on the YouTube members around it, it's been, I could never have predicted that, all of that in a way. I hoped I'd form a bit of a community. It became something I didn't, you know, anticipate at all. Much warmer and bigger and beautiful, in fact. And of course, it meant that when I did decide to self-publish Welcome to New London, you all stepped up and people bought the book and came to the events, and that was amazing. And that's where we go now. It's an ongoing thing. I'm gonna go down here, down Moreland Street, which is a bit of a weird street, because this, I feel like this was the electricity board, wasn't it? Oh, here we go, we're outside Spencer Place Baptist Chapel, 1868. Which is interesting, isn't it? So that was, well, so I did write a couple of things down on a post-it note. What I started, what I've learned. What's interesting as well for me is learning that the best thing about this type of filmmaking, because before that I've made feature documentaries, so I'd made documentaries that had shown some cinemas at festivals, art galleries, that are all on this channel now. And I suppose as well that was, you know, a time when I was like, okay, that's my focus. And YouTube has a language, and learning the language of YouTube. And the language of YouTube, and what makes it so beautiful, is that it's a conversation. This is a conversation. And then you will come into the comments and say things. The amount of videos I've made out of this 350, a fair chunk of them have come from comments, suggestions that people have made, things that people have told me. Also things that people have stopped in the street, people have been going past in their car and they've stopped, and they're on their bikes. People have come up to me in pubs. People have sent me things in the post. You know, and that's, you don't get that when you just spend, hey, it's Angus, great, check out Angus's YouTube channel, Art by Angus. Great character. I love that. And that is one of the great things. This is interesting up here. This is the back of that building, I think. But this looks residential. What is that? What is that? You think I'd know everything around here by now. And why it's actually really nice that I find myself here making this video is because this is really where I started my journey of really taking my London studies seriously, when I lived up at the Angel at the top of the hill there, not far from where we are now. And my kids were born. So when Oliver was born, Joe was born there, and I was working at the South Bank at the National Film Theatre, and I used to walk up and down every day. And as those of you with young kids will know, you don't get to go out, you don't really have any other entertainment. So my entertainment was finding out everything I could, just absorbing the landscape and then reading up on it afterwards. I had started walking around London and writing about it before that, a good 5 or 6 years before that. I wrote for a little publication called Smoke, a London Peculiar. I know some of you remember that. And also I just wrote bits of, I don't know, poetry, bits of prose. I read them at events. I used to do events at Brixton Art Gallery. So I guess I'd had a good, before I moved here, a few years of writing about London. And when I lived at Highbury, how did we afford to live at Highbury? We had no money teaching English, but we did. So this is really the heartland of all that stuff. It's when I started my blog 22 years ago. Wow. or the one now, the Lost Byway, really starts 2004, so that's 21 years ago. And a lot of the books I started collecting, the topographical books. So when I was living there, it was when I did the Remapping High Wycombe project. So I got government funding for psychogeography. Not for the first time, well that was the first time, not for the last time I should say. So the real adventure of all of this work, and the walking vlog series is the continuation of the work I started here when I was living here, and I started the blog. And the blog came out of it. I did the radio show with Nick Papademetrio, which was great, which is podcasted. Ventures and Adventures in Topography on the wonderful Resonance 104.4 FM, that's all online. Loved making those. London Perambulator had come just before that, the beach dock that people still watch and email me about. This on at the Curzon Soho, a special event we had with a Q&A, the Whitechapel Gallery with Ian Sinclair and Will Self. I mean, all that amazing stuff. That started from just writing a blog. I was on the radio, on Radio 3, on Radio 4, BBC London, and then the walking vlog series continues that work and is still going on. And it ain't gonna stop. It ain't gonna stop. The second channel I'm thinking of uploading is about kind of the other elements of what I do, the notebooking, journaling, kind of the bit of the creative process, I guess. The other work I do when I sit in my study. I'm not always out walking. Some people think I'm always out walking. I mean, this will be barely edited, but it'll still need a couple of hours work. The other videos that you watch on a Sunday evening, you know, it's a bit of work goes into those, which I love doing, which I'll never stop doing. And by the way, there's loads of other stuff I'm researching that never ends up in a video. Why, you might say? Good question. Sometimes I just like doing it. Sometimes I just like going on walks to check stuff out without actually producing anything. That happens a lot as well. I always get my St John Street, Goswell and City Road confused. I think we were on Goswell before, now we're on City, because they all kind of converge at the Angel, don't they? So we're going now. So I feel like I've waffled enough. I've covered the bullet points I scribbled out 10 years ago today, 350 episodes, why I started, what I've learned, where it's going. Oh, the first episode, I'll link to that below. The first episode was just a walk down Leytonstone High Road. And I was lucky because I got down to, what was it called? I want to say Texas Home Care, the DIY shop that wasn't B&Q, Home Base, on the last day. But really, I just walked down Leytonstone High Road and I pointed out some of the buildings. It's a 5-minute video and it ends at Home Base, where as it's closing down, the shelves are empty. It's quite poignant, that was the first episode. Still walking around Leytonstone, still making videos of the same places and barely scratching the surface. So I think that's enough. Coming to the Angel up here, just let the Angel up here. So I just want to thank you. Really, this is what this is about. Thank you so much. You've given me everything doing this, and I massively appreciate it. I don't take any of it for granted. Yeah. So as I like to say, I look forward to seeing you on the next walk, wherever that may be. I might change my plan of doing Fulham Palace, Fulham Hammersmith, because someone contacted me saying that Deptford Market, historic Deptford Market, which is incredibly historic market, is under threat of being shut down. So I might go down there on Saturday and do something around that instead. But who knows, wherever that may be.